Okay, in the previous chapter, we looked at the routing element of Angular and Ionic. In this one, I'm going to look more now at the MVC element of Angular and Ionic. That is to say, the way it implements a model view controller architecture, and thus it makes kind of coding, while initially, when you first look at it, actually more complicated. Um, but then afterwards you find that then it makes kind of like doing very complicated things much easier. So if you think, so it's a steep learning curve to do simple things at the beginning, but once you've mastered the way of thinking involved, it makes it a lot easier. To just demonstrate the different way of thinking that you might need to do, I'll just kind of give you an example, maybe based on some of the easiest thing you could possibly do, which is to say just show a variable in jQuery in an HTML page. Just show a JavaScript variable and then print it out onto the page. So I'm just going to show you how you would do that in kind of traditional HTML. So I've got here a sort of, let me just get some sample text. Okay, so I've got here the header of a page, which is going to use the jQuery library. I've got a document ready function, and here's the body of my document. I'll just kind of end that with the end body and the end HTML, and then we'll put inside here a div. Okay, div id equals var show or something like that, and then we'll end the div. Okay, and then let's just do so so we'll create a variable in here in JavaScript. So var text to show. Okay, and then we'll say text to show equals hello world, maybe. Okay, and now we're just going to show it on the page. So what you would do to actually show that, you would have to kind of locate it and then put in the variable. So we'd say something like this, dollar open bracket, sorry, do it again, dollar open bracket single quote, hash var show open bracket dot text, and then I'll put then text to show, and that will then kind of like put that text into that object. And if I now save that, okay, so file save as, so I'll just go into my node dev angular root folder. I'll make it HTML, sort of like a.html. Okay, I'll just copy that as a sort of copy the path. Okay, and now we'll open that in the browser here. Okay, and then I'll say a.html. And there it says hello world. Okay, so that's kind of like how in very good basic JavaScript you can make a variable appear on the page. But notice that it had to be an actual, a genuine action where I got a variable to have the value of this, and then I had to instruct that this variable would be kind of like injected, if you like, into this div var show. Okay, now to show a variable inside an HTML page in Angular is actually really easy. It's a totally different way of doing it. So let's create a new Angular project. So ng new, I'll call this one something like var show. Okay, and we'll just wait for that as usual to get everything set up. Starting with Angular routing, yes, CSS, yes. Okay, and then I'll just pause my recording while it kind of downloads everything. Okay, so now that's finished start. So now I'm going to open. Actually, let's open. Yeah, I'll just open a new folder. So open folder. Actually, I'll put a new window first, and then I'll open the folder. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So go to open folder, and it's in my Angular, and there's var show there. So I'll select that folder. Here we are. And so now I'm going to go into the source, and in the app. So as you've seen from previous things, the page it all starts on, if you kind of create a project by default, is app component.html, which has got loads of this kind of Angular stuff there in it. So I'll just delete all of that, and just type in h1 var show. Okay, and then that's kind of got that. But then, so what the example was that how to show a variable. Well, variables are kind of, so you can associate, so in this kind of component itself, every component has, when it's set up, some kind of styling mechanism, a CSS file or an SCSS file, an HTML file, which is the visual display of it. But it's also got this app component.ts, which is the one where the, if you like, class variables can be set and stored. So if we go into this page here, you'll see there it says export class app component, and we've got there a variable title equals var show. Okay, so and I'll just create another one as well. Greeting equals sort of hello world. Okay, so we've created two variables there. Now, if I want to just show these variables, all I have to do is I go into the HTML file, and then let's kind of put in a div here, and I'll just put a bit of styling. Style equals background color aqua. Let's just do that for now, just so you can see that it is, I'm showing it. And then you just put a double, then this is called I think, is it called a directive? I'm not sure, but it's, you put in a double arrow plus the name of the variable you want to store, or at least the path to the variable that you want to store. Now we're in the same kind of components. We don't need to put any kind of like backslash or forward slash here. It just needs to be the name of the variable. And the two variables here are title and greeting. So I'll put there greeting. And if I do another one, okay, here, background color, let's make it slightly different. Okay, there'll be a yellow one. Okay, and then we'll think this one is going to be title. Okay, and we save that. Okay, notice you also, you probably noticed before anyway, but there is no kind of end body and everything. Whenever you're writing components in Angular, you're basically creating fragments. So having done that, you've just got there the title and the greeting. And if I now kind of compile this, so let's kind of open a terminal, new terminal, and let's so ng serve. What we should be seeing is when the actual page becomes ready to, we thought, oh dear, unfortunately I've got it somewhat on one of the other consoles. I've still got something running. So let's try again, ng serve. Okay, so it's doing the compiling now. And hopefully, if I now go into the browser and the var show, you'll see there var show seems to have happened, although it's not completely working. Let me just check in the console. There's no seem to be any error. Let's kind of so we've got var show is title, the first, the second, the greeting. Let's have a look in the variables. Let's go. I haven't saved everything. Save all, and then I'll go back to it, and they see hello world var show, and those variables. So just there's no kind of like command that actually shows them. It's saying nothing in the command which says put the kind of this variable into that div. It's kind of done automatically. Okay, and this is the sort of like read-only binding, which you can get by just using the two squiggly brackets. Okay, so if I go back into component here and I just change the thing to hello world, and I save that, and then I go back, you'll see there now it's hello world with a capital W. So all I need to do, I change the variable, and the display automatically updates. Okay,